Hi, everyone, and welcome to Boston University's College of Communication and our virtual admitted graduate open house. I'm Lori Nichols, Assistant Dean of Graduate Affairs and Comm. And on behalf of the Graduate Affairs team, we thank you so much for tuning in. First, congratulations on your admission. It's been a very competitive year this year, and our admission committees think that you'll be a successful part of our graduate community. We hope that the presentations and live events we've set up for admitted students will help you get a sense of what it's like to be a grad student at the College of Communication, which we'll refer to throughout the presentation as COM, and to help you figure out that sense of fit between you and our graduate community. First, we will start out by introducing our team. We'll kick it over to Kayla.
Thanks, Lori. So my name is Kayla Ring. I'm the Assistant Director of Graduate Affairs here at the College of Communication. I know I've spoken with many of you over email, and I'm looking forward to meeting you all virtually and then ideally meeting you all in person in September.
I'm Jackie Cummings, so I'm the Admission and Financial Aid Counselor here for graduate students at COM. I echo what Kayla said. I'm very excited to get to know all of you and answer any questions that you have.
Hi everyone, I'm Christy Bowen. Welcome to COM. I'm the Marketing and Communications Specialist for the Graduate Affairs team here at COM.
Great, thanks you guys. Thanks to our team. A friendly reminder to everybody that you can always reach us at comgrad@bu.edu. And the role of our office is to help COM graduate students across their entire time at BU, from the point of admission all the way through graduation. So now I'll go over what today's presentation entails. We'll start out with a little bit about COM and Boston University. Next, we'll talk about student life, including activities, events, working on campus. And then we'll discuss life in Boston, housing, transportation, both BU transportation, as well as public transportation in Boston. And then we'll end with next steps, as well as how you can reach out to us with questions. So next, before we speak about COM specifically, I'd like to give you a general overview of BU as a whole, as well as some tidbits about COM. BU has over 33,000 students. That's approximately 16,000 undergraduate students, 14,000 graduate students, and over 13,000 staff and faculty. There are 17 colleges and schools at BU, of which COM is one. BU stretches across 3 campuses: the Charles River campus, which is where we're located, plus the medical campus and the Fenway campus. We're a Research 1 institution, which means that there's a very high level of research happening across the university. Although BU has been around for over 180 years, COM is a bit younger, starting in 1947, so almost 75 years old. COM is a much smaller community within BU. We have about 500 graduate students across our 11 programs. And while you're attending a very large research universities and all of the resources that has to offer, you have the benefit of relatively small, intimate classroom settings with generally no more than 25 students in the largest graduate level class. For COM, we have research faculty with doctoral degrees in communication, as well as practitioners in the field who have careers in industry. This is just one aspect of what we think makes COM a great place to get a well-balanced education that will lead to successful careers in industry or in academia. Speaking of jobs, the Times Higher Ed rankings put BU among the top universities in their global university employability rankings. We have over 354,000 BU alumni on BU's LinkedIn, over 30,000 of whom are COM alumni. In the department presentations, you'll have a chance to learn more about what some of our COM alumni have been doing. And when you view our career services presentation, you'll hear more from Patrick Nelson, who's our Director of COM Career Services, and how we support COM students in finding professional opportunities. And now I'll hand it over to Kayla.
Thanks, Lori. So one of the best ways to really take advantage of the entire College of Communication experience is to participate in out-of-class extracurricular activities. The professional organizations, publications, clubs, and student activities and studios listed on this slide are student-driven and often student-organized and led. These are opportunities that are intended for you to build your portfolio of work before you begin working off campus through internships or full-time positions. To name a few that are listed on this slide, we have the Public Relations Student Society of America, or PRSSA. This is a professional networking organization. we have WTBU, a student-led radio station, and the COM Graduate Student Council, the voice of graduate students in our programs, and the group that often organizes social and professional events for their colleagues and classmates. One of the most exciting student-driven initiatives this year was the partnership between the PR Lab and Advertising Lab. So this is with our public relations and advertising students specifically. Last spring and over the summer, students worked to develop a COVID-19 safety and student awareness campaign. It was designed to appeal to Gen Z students and included multimedia aspects, including social media, a website. There's also videos that you can take a look at. This robust campaign has received national recognition in multiple publications, as well as news sources throughout the country. And students have been recognized and were actually invited to present at the American Marketing Association conference this year. So just one example of how students were able to take advantage of an extracurricular and coursework opportunity and really make that a robust part of their portfolio of work that they can show an employer following their graduation from the program. You might be wondering how you can join or learn more about these clubs and activities. That's really a great question. You can visit our website and search for any of these clubs. Most will actually have their own website that will include more detailed information. And then they'll also all have social media platforms that you can follow to learn more about these opportunities. When you speak with the current students who are currently enrolled in the College of Communication, you can also ask them what opportunities they're currently participating in. Our ambassadors, who you may have been introduced to already, they are all participating in a lot of current extracurricular activities that might interest you as well. One other point that I'll mention here is the COM graduate student life. So one of the best and most important parts of graduate school is building connections with your peers and your classmates. We often refer to them as your COM colleagues. As I just mentioned, the COM Graduate Student Council organizes many social events. Recently, they've organized coffee and Cabernet chats with the council along with trivia. They're also currently in the process of organizing a professional event with 1 to 2 recruiters, some of whom are also COM graduate alums, so that will be exciting. As soon as it's safe to do so, we'll also resume more in-person and group activities such as walking tours of Boston, a night at the Boston Celtics, so that's Boston's basketball team, and other social activities as well. Also listed on this slide are a number of study abroad opportunities. We use abroad in quotes because some of our abroad opportunities are here in the United States in Los Angeles or Washington, D.C., but are managed by the BU Abroad office. If you would like to learn if your program specifically is eligible to apply and participate in a broad opportunity or program, please email comgrad@bu.edu and we'll be more than happy to provide you with more information. Finally, I'll mention here that BU is a large school, which means that there are over 500 clubs that you can participate in. There'll definitely be a place on campus where you can find a community with students who have shared interests. There are intramural clubs and activities for religious and cultural backgrounds. There's performance and art groups, community service clubs, and many more. In addition, our university gym called FitRec for fitness and recreation offers fitness classes such as rock climbing, dance, swimming, and many others. There's even classes for students who want to learn how to sail in the Charles River. So a lot of ways to stay involved and stay fit and healthy while you're a student here. Awesome. So moving on, we've decided to include a few infographics to highlight some aspects of our student life here. So this first infographic about what we like compiles Qualtrics survey data from students and covers a little bit of what I just talked about. It highlights where students grocery shop, where students would previously grab a drink after class, favorite restaurants, and more. Students also cited where they would study on campus. Many of those study spaces are still safely available through BU's new study space reservation system, where students can reserve a closed space or less populated area on campus where they can study or work in between classes. The other infographic that we chose to highlight highlights assistantships or work opportunities on campus. These are on-campus jobs such as teaching, research, and grader positions where students will be working with faculty. There are also administrative positions, like working for the Career Services Office, our team, the Graduate Affairs Office, or Comms Technical and Web Designs teams. These stats reflect positions within COM, but there are many opportunities for students across campus as well. The university gym that I was mentioning previously also hires a number of graduate students for assistantship roles. There are graduate resident assistantship positions for students who want to work and live on campus. Students can work up to 20 hours per week while in classes, and they are paid each week on Friday from a semester stipend. Semester stipends are determined by the type of position and number of hours that a student would work each week. All students sign a contract with their supervisor before beginning a position. These contracts are generally signed as early as mid to late August, and many students sign these contracts when they actually begin classes in September. The Graduate Affairs Office will continue to email students as positions become available. Don't worry, many opportunities continue to become available in late spring and early summer, whereas there's even additional opportunities that become available in the late summer or early fall when faculty and administrative offices have a greater idea of what their need will be and also their budget for the upcoming fall 2021 semester. Students will also have access to the university job board, and that access will become available sometime in mid to late July likely. Okay, so last slide that I'll talk about is really why Boston. So one of the most significant parts of studying at BU is our urban campus. We're truly in the heart of Boston. We've listed a few facts here to back up my entirely biased opinion. I truly think Boston is one of the best cities to live and one of the best cities to be a student. For students in comm, it's one of the best media markets in the country. And being an urban campus, it offers a wider range of opportunities, professional opportunities where you can begin to search for internships or potentially network with some folks in your industry that perhaps are outside of the college as well. Boston is also America's college town. It hosts over 35 colleges and universities in the greater Boston area. This means Boston often caters to students, whether that be museum tours, a trip to the aquarium. There's often free or special opportunities for BU students. I know as a city, we're really looking forward to a vibrant student community really returning. Students can walk up and down any street in Boston and you'll be surrounded by fellow students, whether that be BU students or students from another area. And so that's something that we're truly looking forward to as soon as it's safe to do so. Another benefit about living in Boston, in my opinion, is access to green space, whether that be running on the Charles River Esplanade, visiting the Arnold Arboretum or the Boston Common. There's a lot of opportunities if you want to run or walk or escape the city for a little bit. If you're interested in sports, you can also easily access professional college sports or professional sports in general by public transportation. We're actually right around the corner from Fenway Park, and we're now a few weeks away from opening day at Fenway Park, Boston's baseball stadium and Boston's baseball team, the Red Sox. This season is about to kick off, and the stadium will actually be opening at a lower capacity. And even this small amount of good news means that Boston as a city is safely moving in the right direction. It's something that I'm very much looking forward to. Lastly, we've noted that Boston is consistently ranked in the top 10 cities in the country for young professional opportunities. So if you want to stay in Boston after graduation, it's also a great place to be a young professional and search for a job. Thank you.
So in terms of finding and securing housing in Boston, we have some resources highlighted on this page. If you look to the upper left, we have some of our popular neighborhoods listed here. Depending on which way you go off campus, there's a wide variety of different neighborhoods. Some are more heavy in redstone, some have larger buildings. So we encourage you to explore this link via Living in Boston and Finding Housing in this top left box. This will just give you a sense of what you can look forward to in different neighborhoods. It really depends on how far from campus you want to be. Jackie is going to touch on transportation in the next slide, but do not fear the commute to campus. It is a very walking, train, biking friendly city. Anywhere that you choose to live, you can explore the different options for getting around. If you look at the map in the lower left-hand corner, it can give you a sense of just how many different neighborhoods there are. Where BU is located is very central to the city. We're lucky enough to have the Green Line running right through campus. So again, plenty of options in terms of getting to different neighborhoods. If you look to the right, we have some housing resources listed. Most of our students, as graduate students at COM, do choose to live off campus. So that top link can bring you to a variety of resources, help you get familiar with working with a realtor locally, exploring the different neighborhoods and getting a sense for what's available in different spots. We also have off-campus services here at BU. You can check out that Facebook page. That'll just help you connect with some folks that are also looking for roommates, whether you're living with another incoming COM graduate student, or you just want to live with another BU student. People post open rooms that you can start to look at right away. I'll also be sending out the COM roommate list information very shortly. This is a great way to connect with other COM grad terriers if you are interested in living with someone potentially in your program. So that'll just help you get a sense of who else is looking, who's looking to spend a similar amount, be in similar areas, and it's a nice way to meet people as well. So that'll be coming your way shortly. We have another link here to BU Real Estate. If you are interested in living on campus, the majority of our graduate students here at COM don't, but that is available if you want to check out availability, if you want to be closer to campus. For those that are interested in being a graduate resident assistant, those positions are available as well. And of course, we are in the city, so if you don't want to go through BU Housing, we have all of the other options available here in Boston. You can look on Zillow, HotPads, Apartments.com. This will just help you get a sense of what's available beyond the immediate BU scope and our immediate resources here on campus. Keep things in mind that you feel very strongly about having in your home. If you want in-unit laundry, air conditioning, if you're planning on bringing a car. Most of our students don't, but if that's something that you want to pursue, make sure that you're looking at all of the amenities that are listed with the apartments on these sites. And then finally, we do want you to be prepared that different areas come at different costs. Typically, the closer you are to campus, if you're looking at like the Fenway-Kenmore area, can be a little bit more expensive, depending on if you are willing to have roommates or not. The rule of thumb is the more folks you live with, the cheaper the cost will be per room, but that can vary by neighborhood. So I would say set your budget, figure out how much you're comfortable spending, and then you can incorporate that into your entire budgeting plan. And if you want to get a further sense of this, you can also explore your personalized student page. So your Pearl, we have a housing resources page on there in which current students and past students kind of highlight different perks of different areas, and we explain how much you should expect to spend per area as well.
Thanks, Christy. So now that we've talked a little bit about Boston and living in Boston, we'll dive a little bit deeper into transportation options and different ways to get around the city. So first and foremost, we've all talked about this, but Boston is an extremely walkable city. So when the weather is nice, you might find yourself getting to where you need to go on foot. When the weather doesn't allow for it, there are some other options for getting around. In particular, Boston does have a pretty reliable and robust public transportation system called the MBTA or the T. And the MBTA consists of a combination of buses, above ground trains, underground trains, commuter rails that run outside of the city. So a lot of different options for getting around. In particular, BU students tend to rely heavily on the Green Line. So you can see on the map here in the center of the slide, all the different lines. The one that's green is the Green Line. There's a branch called the B Line or the Boston College Line that actually runs from downtown Boston through campus all the way to the Allston-Brighton area. So that can be really convenient for students to get from one end of campus to the other or to their apartment. So that's something to take into consideration when you're looking for an apartment too, is looking at what lines are nearby. And while we have a map posted here, it's a little bit small, so you might want to take a look at mbta.com to get a sense of the maps and where things are. In addition to the Green Line and the Boston College Line, the MBTA bus number 57 is also commonly used by BU students. That bus runs from Kenmore Square, which is really close to the College of Communication, all the way down Commonwealth Avenue into Brighton. So that's another convenient way to get from, maybe if you have a class on one side of campus and then a class on the other side, to get back and forth pretty quickly. And if you're planning to use public transportation as your way to get around, BU does offer a discounted semester pass to students that's available to purchase over the summer. On the slide, we also have two apps posted here, so the Proximate app and the Transit app. If you are interested in downloading these, they do provide live views and schedules of both buses and trains. And in addition to the MBTA and public transportation, there are some other resources to think about. So we mentioned that we don't recommend bringing a car if it's possible to avoid it, but BU does have commuter day parking permits for students available to purchase through the parking office. So if you're interested, I would take a look at the parking office's website, which is linked here. BU also has a free shuttle bus for students that runs 3 loops around campus. It does loops on the Charles River campus, which is where the College of Communication is located, as well as on the medical campus, which is in the south end of Boston. The parking office also provides a number of resources for commuters, including resources for cyclists. So if you're considering bringing your bike to campus, they offer a resource like register your bike. BU has also recently installed bike lanes along Commonwealth Avenue, which has really increased the safety for cyclists and also just the convenience if you're planning on biking around. And finally, BU does have a partnership with both Blue Bikes and Zipcar to offer discounted memberships for students. So Blue Bikes are like city bikes, so you can rent a bike for the day to get around campus, or if you're just thinking about going for a bike ride on the Charles River, that's an option. And then Zipcar is a car rental agency. So if you're interested in renting a car, maybe to go travel outside of the city for a weekend trip or something like that, there are discounted memberships for students. So as you can see on the slide, there's a number of ways to get around. So regardless of your preference, you'll be able to navigate it. And Boston is a very commuter-friendly city. So hopefully you'll find a way, a method that works best for you. So we will get to the Q&A, but first I just wanted to provide our contact information again. So our email address, which is comgrad@bu.edu, as well as our phone number. On this slide also, we have our social media handles. So for Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, as an accepted student, you may want to connect with us on social media just to see what's going on in the college, get a better sense of upcoming events, things like that. We suggest giving us a follow. And before we jump into the Q&A, I also just want to touch on a few next steps that you might want to consider as we move forward. So congratulations again. We're really happy that you took the time to watch this presentation, and we hope it was informative about what to expect life in Boston as a new comm student. But coming up, if you have not done so already, we encourage you to accept your offer of admission and pay your enrollment deposit to confirm your enrollment for this fall. Your deadline to confirm your enrollment is listed in your acceptance letter, so if you're not sure of that date, I would check there. We also suggest starting to contact your faculty or your professors if you have any lingering questions about your program. They're really excited to hear from you and very excited at the possibility of you joining us in the fall, so please don't hesitate to reach out to them. And then once you've confirmed your enrollment or over the summer, you can really start to begin looking for housing. So reaching out to other accepted students if you're looking for roommates, or taking a look at some of the resources that Christy provided. You'll also start to receive information about setting up your BU email account, so look out for that communication. If you're an international student, we'll also start to send out more information about applying for your I-20. So that is coming. And we also really recommend keeping an eye on your accepted student site. So that personal accepted student site. On your homepage there, we do have an accepted student checklist that will continue to update throughout the summer with important dates and things to be on the lookout for. So thanks again for attending, and we'll move right along to some questions. Thank you.